Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, proud to be the world's #1 community for brilliant childcare leaders. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Elif Childcare Insurance. Give Blake a call at 972-232-2258 to get a free quote on childcare business insurance today. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 67 of the Childcare Genius podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre. And we wanted to let you know before we get started with our amazing episode today, the tickets are now on sale for our Childcare Genius Live Conference in Las Vegas, April 14, 15, and 16 of 2024. It's going to be the most advanced childcare conference in the world.
And we have no sales pitches at our conferences.
No sales pitches. All of our speakers are CCGU, Childcare Genius University faculty members. We have a 2-day conference and then a 3rd day. So it's a 3-day event, but the first 2 days, the owners and directors are separated. Different content, advanced content in both rooms. And on day 3, we're doing expansion boot camp, which is expansion 201 in one room. And we're doing a director's leadership boot camp or leadership 201 in another room. And the owner can decide if they want to go in the expansion room or the leadership room on day 3. But the directors have to be in the leadership room. They can't go into the expansion room. So more details are on our website. We're doing poolside networking and coaching, and it's going to be an amazing event, different than anything you've ever been to. It's going to be an amazing experience. Tickets are on sale right now, $5.99 for owners and $4.99 for directors.
Visit childcaregenius.com to purchase tickets.
Yep. So we'll look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas, April 14, 15, 16. We're actually be at the Golden Nugget Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. So this month we're doing a series on men in childcare. We hope that these episodes will encourage more men to get into the amazing field of childcare.
All guests are men building a childcare business without a spouse or a significant other.
Yeah, and this is week 3 of a 4-part series, which we're excited about. So today's guest is Michael Smith. Michael owns Kids Are Kids of Prairie Hills, which is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We're going to talk today about some of the challenging of being an outsider in the childcare industry and how coaching has helped him along the way. I've coached many Kids Are Kids franchisees, and he's a new owner. He's only been doing it a little over a year, but he's doing really well. I know you're going to enjoy this episode.
Let's get Michael on the line. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast. How are you doing today?
Good. Hi, Brian, Carol. I appreciate you having me.
Good to see you, Michael. I enjoy having you on today. We're looking forward to talking. This is week 4 of Men in Childcare Month. And all 4 weeks of the month of November, we've been interviewing men who are building the childcare business, basically without the help of a significant other. Your wife is in a different profession, and you decided you want to get into the childcare business. We want to pick your brain as far as out why you chose childcare and a little bit about your school. So why don't you start out with telling the audience a little bit about your school and how you got into the childcare business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a franchisee under Kids Are Kids. I get the distinction of the furthest north Kids Are Kids being in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I kind of got that going for me. But really what brought my wife and I into childcare, and as you mentioned, my wife does have another full-time job, so she doesn't get to deal with the day-to-day as I do, but gets to listen to me at the end of the day when I bring her all the fun activities we've done that day. So, but what really led us to childcare. We actually have 4 children of our own, and not to go into too much detail, but we did have a very unfortunate childcare experience of our own with our own children. And that really led us to look at each other and say, what other options are there out there? What could we bring to our community to provide for this area that's in a big need? And so we did a lot of research and looked all over the place. And I actually have a family friend who opened a Kids Are Kids in Charleston, South Carolina. So I reached out to him and we had a lot of conversations, went out and visited his school, and really fell in love with the concept and decided we should do a discovery day at the corporate office. And we really resonated with the founders and owners, and their philosophy of hug first, then teach is something that we hold very dear. And I always tell my families the way I sum that up is to love. We want our school to be a loving environment. Really, when whoever walks through our doors, they feel that love, feel that care. And that's what drew us to Kids Are Kids and ultimately led us to that decision to open a Kids Are Kids here in Sioux Falls.
Wow, so you're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yes, it's cold.
I bet it's getting cold already.
Yeah, so it was 70 at the beginning of this week, and we'll have snow on Saturday. So
Yeah,
Wow.
I know that
It's like
feeling.
here.
It's like just like here too, for sure.
What has been the biggest challenge building the business as a man in a traditional female business?
I would say probably the biggest challenge I've ran into is dealing with some of that goes on in a typical, in like an all-female environment. So my background, I actually come from a lot of athletics. I was in the collegiate strength and conditioning world for a number of years, personal training, and I built a lot of teams through that environment. And I would say I was the typical male, my way, do it my way kind of personality. That doesn't work so well when you're dealing with all females in a childcare facility. So I think being able to change the mentality I have a little bit. And I would also say I'm typical male when it comes to, you're not supposed to show your feelings. Well, there's a lot of feelings that can get shown on a day-to-day basis. So learning to deal with that and how to handle those conversations have been some of the biggest challenges, I would say, as I've opened Kids Are Kids.
Interesting. So what advice would you give men considering working in or maybe owning a childcare business?
Far as owning, have a great team that you can lean on when it comes to that. Have a solid director. As I mentioned, my background is not in childcare, so I was not going to be the director by any means. I knew that from the beginning. So having a strong director, a strong curriculum coordinator, strong assistant director that can really help build those relationships and help foster what we were trying to achieve from an owner's standpoint. Another reason we did go with Kids Are Kids is they do have that on-site owner model. And I do believe that helps with the just policies and procedures, the intricacies of the day-to-day that come with owning a child care facility. So having those strong individuals really is something that has made my life much easier. And I'm not trying to do it all, where I can hand off some of those duties and know that it's being handled properly and the children are still receiving that love and care. And not only the children, but our team members as well, because that's really more than half the battle. They need to feel that love and care as well as the children.
For sure. I've coached, I think, 6 or 7 different Kids Are Kids franchise owners. And I've been to several different locations, and your buildings are just spectacularly amazing. The owners are all great hands-on owners. So they definitely picked a good owner in you, and you definitely picked a decent franchise to belong to, for sure.
If you don't mind sharing, what's one business goal you have set for 2024?
I think the biggest business goal I have for the upcoming year is to decrease our turnover. Being just open over 1 year, we've had more turnover than I would like. I want to get that number down to about 50% of our turnover. As anybody in childcare knows, parents really appreciate that consistency in the classroom. So having teachers that are with us for an extended period of time is something I'm really going to strive for in 2024. And we've put some things in place to help with that retention and make sure that our teachers are feeling the love just as our children do.
Yeah, that's very important. And we have a traditionally high turnover industry anyway. But there are things you can do, and we teach some of that stuff. We'll work with you and help you get that better. But that is an excellent goal. I think everybody in the child care industry should shoot for that goal, is to lower the turnover rate. And I think with the way economics change, and I think in 2024 you'll see people hold on to their jobs a little bit more, and you'll see less of that, just people trying to chase a paycheck because there might not be as much opportunity. So hopefully economically it'll be better for us. But time will tell. So that's definitely an excellent goal.
Yeah, I kind of seen that already towards the end of 2023 here. It just seems that the hiring market's doing a lot better. And I talk with other owners all the time, and it seems different parts of the country are in different areas. I talked to some of the Texas owners, and they're like, oh yeah, our hiring's back to almost pre-pandemic levels. And I'm like, well, we have not seen that here yet, but I definitely agree with you. The tides seem to be going in the right direction for us as owners.
Well, the problem in South Dakota is you have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. So everybody's working or wants to work, and you have 2-3 jobs if you want. And the problem is there's not as many people to fill those jobs. So, I mean, from an economic perspective, yeah, your state's doing great, but bad. You need to get more people moving into South Dakota. Hence why I see all these ads from your governor trying to get people to move to South Dakota. I understand why. You need workers.
Yes, Governor Nome does a great job of promoting South Dakota. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, we see your ads here in Maine. Actually, they're pretty darn good ads. And your state's so beautiful. I mean, I could see why people want to move there, but you gotta like snow.
You do. You have to like snow and the cold.
Yep, which means we're not moving to South Dakota. Just letting you know.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So what would say we like to talk about, we like to be humble on this program, and I've admitted a lot of mistakes I've made. So what would you say one of your biggest mistakes you've made so far in your childcare business, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I would say the biggest mistake I made was not from the very beginning tracking all of the metrics that you should track as an owner. Being the first time in the childcare industry and opening a fairly large academy, I kind of got caught in the weeds. I spent too much time in the kitchen, too much time in the classrooms, and probably handling things that were not my responsibility to handle, just because you get in that mindset, oh, who's going to do it better than me? Well, that really hurt when it came to looking at why are some of our team members leaving? Why are we not having the enrollment that I'm desiring? And just kind of the budget metrics as well. Where maybe are some leaks that we have, where could we tighten some things up? And I think if I would have done that from the beginning, we would have been in a much better place. And not that we're in a bad place now by any means, but I think you just start strong and you just can continue to build from there.
So you've been open for a little over a year, is that right?
Yeah, so on November 6th will be 1 year and 2 months.
So you're still pretty new. So to have that epiphany of tracking numbers this early is great. I think the first 5 or 6 years I didn't track anything, but for the last 20 years, I have been meticulously on numbers and KPIs and tracking. And it's such a big, huge benefit to know the numbers because they don't lie. Analytics are so important. So I'm glad you're tracking that stuff.
Yeah, and I probably trusted some people too much and like, oh, they're telling me the truth. And like, you want to trust, but you need to verify. So I probably should have been doing some more verifying to make sure. And there definitely could have been some areas where we were spending too much, and I could have tightened up there. That would have helped us in those areas.
Well, they're telling you the truth in their eyes, meaning that sometimes we don't know, the brain will trick you. And I've asked owners this sometimes, well, what's your TOR conversion percentage? Oh, I can 100%, 90%. And they're not lying, even though their numbers are not accurate. It's their brain thinks everybody that comes in TOR, because they don't remember the ones that say no. They only remember the ones that say yes. So your director will say, yeah, I do this or yes or that. In their mind, that's what it is. But numbers don't lie. Statistics don't lie. That's why we need to track things, because our memory will only tend to remember the things that give us pleasure, the dopamine release, the people that say yes. you tend to not remember the people that say no. That's like in gambling, when you go to the slot machines and play them, you don't remember the times you lost $100, but you sure remember the time you won $100. And that is what the brain will do. So the statistics never lie. Make sure you write it down. Don't just say, well, ProCare tracks that. No, you need to actually keep it on a spreadsheet, because it's right in front of you and you can look for trends over time. So that is why in our university, we're big on tracking. So I'm glad you're on top of that, and you're going to see big results from doing that.
So you do one-on-one coaching with Brian. How has your experience in the Child Care Genius University helped you in your business?
Yeah, so just going back to that tracking, just little things you don't think about, whether that's your FTE or enrollment per classroom, having those systems in place and keeping an eye on it is really stuff that Brian's helped me with. Like, have you thought about tracking this? Have you thought about tracking that? And always been a learner. I've always wanted to listen to as much information as I can. I listen to tons of podcasts, including your own. And it's kind of always stuff that you hear, but then how do you implement it? And Brian's really been great at helping me implement those things and holding me accountable to that as well. I would consider myself one of the biggest areas of improvement in my own life is just that accountability, and having those meetings with Brian have really helped made me be accountable to the things we've put in place. Our last meeting, we talked about SEO, and I've already reached out to one of our marketing companies, and they've given me some ideas how to improve my SEO. So those are going to be things I implement here in the coming weeks, and just small stuff like that that maybe you know about, but you need that reminder, hey, these are the areas you need to be thinking of. I think that's really been helpful.
And I love how you said that, Mike, because it's all about advancing the football forward towards the goal, in a football analogy. And sometimes you get so busy looking at the forest, you don't see the trees. I take you up above every day, every time we talk, and you can see the whole playing field, you can see the whole forest, and you can see things. And sometimes an outsider can help you see things that you don't see in yourself, because you're in the day-to-day, you're in the trenches, you're dealing with all this, the nuances of running a childcare center, and you don't have time to be thinking of all these little things. And sometimes that could be bad. So that's what coaching does. It helps you find the missing blind spots, I call it, or profitability killers. And that you're such a good student that you're willing to soak up all this knowledge when we talk. And I so much appreciate having a client and a friend that'll actually listens and does the things that you suggest. And you're right on. And you're going to get some great results from it, and already have.
Yeah. We're in the middle of some pretty big changes right now, so that puts me even more down in those weeds. So I need almost someone to pull me back up and say, hey, remember, don't forget about these areas. So I appreciate that all the time.
Yeah. And someday I will get back to South Dakota. It's one of the loveliest states in the country, and we've been there before. And I definitely want to see this school in Prairie Hills in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So if you're in that area and you'd like to stop by, I'm sure you wouldn't mind somebody popping in for a visit. They call ahead and want to see Kids of Prairie Hills. Is that possible?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime we have people stop by, and I'd love to give anybody a tour, whether they're interested in enrollment or just want to see what we have to offer. That would be great. Yeah,
and if you're visiting South Dakota anyway, and you want to help your trip become tax deductible, make sure you visit a Kids location, and visit Mike here and Kids of Prairie Hills, South Dakota. Sioux Falls. Is Prairie Hills the name of the town?
It's the neighborhood we're in.
Neighborhood, okay.
Yep, we're in Sioux Falls, but we're in the neighborhood of Prairie Hills.
Gotcha. That's easy to remember. All right. Well, where's your happy place, Michael? What is where's your mindset? Where do you go to for your happy place?
I would say anywhere on vacation with my wife would be my happy place. I love my children, don't get me wrong, but those couples trips, those are I really enjoy those. So
we have the same answer. I don't know if our wives have the same answer, but that's all that matters to us is what's important to us. But I love that. That is a good thing. So where's your favorite vacation spot?
So we a few years ago, we were actually supposed to go on a cruise, and that got canceled due to COVID. So we actually went to Friday Harbor up in Washington. She has some family out there. And that is one of the prettiest areas in the continental United States that I've ever been. That was an amazing trip and beautiful scenery. And it was nice to get away, especially during that time when the pandemic was happening.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's good to have a place that's not super far from you as well.
Yeah, I would say if I had a local place, I'm originally from Iowa. Any Iowan knows of Lake Okoboji, and my parents have a lake house there, so that's our short getaway. It's only about an hour and a half drive for us, so that's the close getaway.
Nice. Well, pretty soon you're going to be snowed in, so be thinking about a vacation in warm climate sometime this winter. Unless you're one of those crazy people that like snow. Are you a snow lover?
No, I would not say I'm a snow lover. Now, if I'm skiing, that would be a different story. I do love downhill skiing, but the part of South Dakota we're in, you could look for about 25 miles and not see a hill. So not a lot of downhill skiing gets done in our part of the country.
You're a South Dakota flatlander. There's a lot of mountains in South Dakota. You're just not in it.
Yes, that's all West River. We're East River. So
got it. All right. Well, that's cool. Well, I'm looking forward to a South Dakota visit at some point in the future. And thanks for taking time to talk with us today. You've definitely helped some people. What's the website to look at your website, Michael, if they want to check you out a little further?
Yeah. So if they go to kidsarekids.com/Prairie Hills, that'll be our website, and has all of our curriculum on there, our philosophy, and actually has a short video that kind of talks about what we're trying to do here at Kids Are Kids at Prairie Hills.
Awesome. Well, you're a great franchise. You're a good owner, and I wish you the absolute best. Pleasure to work with you. And thanks again for coming on the Child Care Genius podcast today.
I appreciate it, guys. Brian and Carol, I can't thank you guys enough. Even the short time I've been in the university, it's already paid for itself, just in the ability to speak with other owners that are like-minded, and to be able to pick your brains has been amazing. So I have to shout out to you guys and thank you for the opportunities that you've given me.
Appreciate that, buddy. Have a good rest of your day.
Yes, you guys as well. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
He has an amazing school.
Yeah, I love Kids Are Kids. They're a really good franchise. They take care of their people, and it's got a beautiful center. I mean, absolutely beautiful. He built an amazing program there. And I know he helped some people in the audience with some of the challenges he faced and problems. So I look forward to working with him, and hopefully we can visit his school in the summer, not in the winter. All right. So if you need help in your childcare business for like a free coaching call with me, I'll do a call with you if you're a center owner, or if you're thinking of opening a center, I could do a call with you as well. Visit our website at childcaregenius.com. And under the coaching tab, select I'd like a free coaching call. And you're guaranteed to come away with 2 or 3 action items that you can help where you are struggling. So this concludes episode 67 of the Child Care Genius podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your busy life to spend with us.
And just a reminder to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Child Care Genius community.